which I respect. And
well, you don't respect. The polar opposite of respecting it, mate, is booing it. I'm afraid it couldn't be a bigger U-turn or a more violent opposition to respect than the idea of booing something. So you don't respect it. You completely and categorically disrespect it. So let's just make sure we're using words.
All right, so in this call, a football fan calls James to proudly defend booing his own team's anti-racism gesture. And he thinks he has a rock-solid reason. And of course he doesn't. And what happens is he just walks into a complete trap from James. If you want to see more videos like this, hit the like and subscribe buttons. And don't forget to ring the notification bell so you never miss a video. Now, we'll watch this together and then I'll give you my thoughts at the end.
Tom is in Hampstead. Tom, what would you like to say?
Good morning. I was actually at the Riverside yesterday, and I booed the knee.
Okay. Why do you think the players are doing it?
I know the reasons that they've said that they're doing it.
So you booed that then?
No.
So you booed the reasons that they haven't said?
My undertone is that when I hear the word Black Lives Matter, I think of burning buildings in America, attacking the police and violent protests.
Yes.
So I'm not...
Have you tried not to?
Sorry?
Have you tried not to think that? Have you tried to think about the words and what they actually mean?
One of my aunties actually was killed during a Black Lives Matter protest last year.
And that's appalling. But have you tried thinking about what the words actually mean?
I understand what they mean, and I agree with what
do they mean?
And well, they're saying that Black Lives Matter also matter. Black lives also matter. I understand that.
So why are you booing it?
Because of what I've just said about what I think about when I think of those words. Now,
if I walk into a room and you're kneeling, I don't get to tell you why you're kneeling or what you're showing support for. I get only to ask you. So we've asked the footballers why they're doing it, and they've told us, Tom.
Which I respect. And
well, you don't respect. The polar opposite of respecting it, mate, is booing it. I'm afraid it couldn't be a bigger U-turn or a more violent opposition to respect than the idea of booing something. So you don't respect it. You completely and categorically disrespect it. So let's just make sure we're using words accurately.
Absolutely. But it's, I think if you make a bold statement rather than just taking the knee every week, actually, I think I would respect it more. But it's just a complete, politically correct statement done.
But again, you're telling them why they're doing it, and they're giving you a very different answer to that question. So what do you think qualifies you to say, oh, I know that's why you say you're doing it, but I know better?
Well, again, that's your opinion. For me...
No, you boo them. They've told you why they're doing it, and you're booing them for completely different reasons.
But then that's my opinion.
Your opinion is that you know better than them as to why they're kneeling. You claiming it was my opinion a minute ago.
I've read what they've said about why they're kneeling. I've been going to England games for 10 years, home and away. I'm going next week to Croatia at home. I'll be at all the Euro games, and I'm also going to Qatar next summer. What
do you think what impact do you think it has on the players when they get booed by their own fans before the game starts? Do you think it might G them up a bit?
Honestly, I think that part's bad, and I'm one of the people that do it. I think it's bad because, England are going into a major tournament, and we're basically, the biggest story at the moment is the fact that there's the divide between the fans and the players.
Well, some fans, mate. I think you got drowned out by the majority. Just a small proportion of fans who many people think are racist, but I presume you reject that description.
I'm absolutely outright not racist, but,
But you boo the Black Lives Matter kneeling.
I blew the black. Yeah.
But you're definitely not racist. Yeah.
Sorry?
What do you think the word support means?
Support what? In what context?
Any context you want.
Getting behind, isn't it? Encouraging.
Yeah. So you're there to actually make them play worse, are you?
Well, no. I spent probably our best part of 50,000, 60,000 over the last 10 years following in home. I was in Russia 2 years ago.
Yes, but we're talking about yesterday. I mean, by booing the players, do you think you are more likely to make them perform better or worse?
I think it's a very touchy subject. That's not got...
really not. You can ask me the same question if you want. If you boo me... Well, put yourself in that situation. What do you do for a living, Tom?
What's that, sorry?
What do you do for a living?
I work in the city.
Okay, so if I came into your office and started booing you and disrespecting you, and you'd say to me, "Why are you doing that? I'm just trying to do my job." And I said to you, "Hang on a minute, Tom. I know what you're really up to. You're not doing that." And do you think you would perform better or worse at work?
Hang on, I'm not disrespecting or like.
Yes, you are. You're booing them. We've already established that. So. Would you be more likely to make them play better or worse by booing them? It's not a trick question.
But I'm not. You know, when the players come on the pitch, they get a clap, we sing their anthem, if not that.
And then you boo them. So do you think booing them will make them play better or worse?
But it's not about the football, why I'm booing them.
I don't care. Do you think it will make them play better or worse?
I mean, I guess worse. But that's
and here you are. Are you going to boo them at the Croatia game?
Absolutely.
Yeah, cool. You're a massive supporter, you are, aren't you? How big's your flag?
Sorry?
How big's your flag?
I've got a British flag just to, you know...
Yeah, I know. I know you have. You don't need to tell me that. I'm just wondering how big it is.
I can't remember, sorry.
All right, and how hard do you wave it when you're booing the England players?
I don't wave a flag.
Oh, call yourself a football fan?
I know. Unbelievable,
Mate, do me a favour. Seriously, keep your thoughts. That's fine. If you want to believe that you know better as to why these human beings who've told you why they're doing something are really doing it, you've got a better insight. Just don't boo them because we want to win, right? And you've just said yourself that by booing them, you make them play worse. Can't you just keep quiet for a month?
Well, the problem is, look at Millwall. Honestly,
no, I don't want to look at Millwall. I don't support Millwall. I want England to win. You don't want them to win. Why are you going to the games? Why are you using up a seat that a proper fan could have?
Well, you know, it's based on loyalty, and I was imagining...
Loyalty.
All right, so that was a masterclass in exposing nonsensical hypocrisy. Firstly, the caller tried to justify booing Black Lives Matter by saying it reminds him of burning buildings, whatever that means. And he's completely ignoring the reason players have given. And James obviously spots this and asks Tom, why do you get to decide their motive? And Tom, of course, has no answer. He just gives the usual answer in this case, which is, it's my opinion. Tom then claims he respects the player's reasons, and James calmly points out that booing is, by definition, the polar opposite of respect. The first contradiction is exposed. But this is where the caller's argument completely collapses. James sets a perfect trap. He stops talking about politics, racism, or motives, and asks the simple question about sport. Do you think it will make them play better or worse? And Tom has nowhere to go. He's forced to admit that his own actions make his own team perform worse. And after admitting that he is actively harming his own team's chances, James asks if he'll boo again. And Tom answered, of course he will. So what happened? James forced a man who defines himself by his loyalty to admit on national radio that he is actively and knowingly sabotaging the team he claims to love. This reveals that for people like Tom, protesting the anti-racism gesture is more important than the team actually winning. His personal grievance outweighs his support. It was never about football. So what are your thoughts? Let me know in the comments below, and if you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure you hit the like and subscribe button for more, and don't forget to ring the notification bell so you never miss a video. Thanks for watching.